This is TWiT.
Amazon has entered into the premium smart speaker market. It's been making smart speakers for ages, but the Amazon Echo Studio is a new product on the scene. And I have the delightful Daniel Bader here from Android Central to talk with me about his review, A Sonic Boom for Your Living Room. Hello, Daniel Bader.
Hello, Mikah Sargent. Oh, it's so good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too. See, it's weird. I'm calling you Daniel, but everybody that I know, we all know you as Bader. So that's I'm getting used to it.
You can call me Bader. It's a differentiator. Nobody knows me as. There aren't that many Baders. There are many, many, many Daniels. So.
Yes, but none like you. And we appreciate you joining us today. So let's talk about the Amazon Echo Studio. I guess, first of all, what is your overall take on this device? And do you want to explain a little bit about what it is in the first place? Because Amazon has lots of different Echo devices that are smart speakers that you can communicate with Alexa. So what makes this one different? Why does it get that studio moniker on the end?
Yeah, so I just have to preface this by saying right before I came on, I realized you were just finishing the ad read, and I was like, oh no, I didn't mute the studio, so that if I say the Alexa word, it's all gonna go haywire and start talking to me, and I don't want that. So that is the first part, right? It's a smart speaker that you can talk to. It has 7 microphones on the top, and it does the same thing that all of your other Echo speakers do. It just does it louder, and it does it with much, much better and fuller sound. It has 3 mid-range tweeters. It has a dedicated high treble tweeter that faces you, and the 3 mid-range tweeters face in 3 separate directions, plus a downward firing woofer for that really rumbly bass. Ooh. And the one thing that I think Amazon has tried to do and hasn't done super well until the last year is high fidelity sound. They dipped their toe a little bit with the subwoofer last year that you could pair to the less powerful Echo speakers. And they have these Link and Link Amp products that you can connect to your existing stereo that would allow you to talk to, I'm going to call her Lexi, and then we can, and then we can, then you can hook it up to your regular stereo and get good sound for, with smart add-on. But this is the first kind of all-in-one hi-fi stereo that competes with the HomePod and with the Google Home Max, and it works. It's a really good product, and it undercuts basically everything out there by a lot. And I think that's really the big takeaway here is it sounds good, and it's way, way cheaper than a HomePod or a Google Home Max.
Okay, yeah. So this is for folks who want to have that more premium sound, but maybe aren't looking to spend that extra cost. Now, how well does it work as an addition to your already maybe Echo-filled home? Is this meant to be sort of a standout product, or does it integrate well with the others as part of the ability to walk into any room and say, hey, Alexa, I want you to do this. Or I like what you said, Lexi, I want to be able to do this. Is it buy this and be done with it, or is it a good idea to bring it into my home as an addition to the other Echo devices that I have?
So I think Amazon recognizes that a lot of its products are shoved into the corners of rooms that where people just ask them very kind of high-level questions, play this on Spotify or set a timer or whatever. And they're seeing, a lot of Echo Dots in kitchens. They're seeing a lot of Echo, Echo Show, the smaller Echo displays, the spots in bedrooms. But they didn't really have anything to compete with the big sounding Sonos and HomePod type speakers in the living room. Mm-hmm. The Echo Plus, even though the word plus is in there, it's still a fairly it's a fairly small physical speaker, and it doesn't have the bass to really kick off a party. And it was this product that Amazon was missing compared to its competitors, right? Like you've heard the HomePod. The HomePod is a diminutive product that really can just push out a whole lot of music. The Google Home Max, it is a physically massive product on the other hand, and it just fills a room with sound, overwhelmingly often with bass. This product is a really nice middle ground. It pushes beautiful mid-range. The vocals coming out of it are really precise. It does not overwhelming bass, but really kind of accurate bass.
Ooh, that's good.
And overall, it just feels like a product that Amazon spent a year or two getting right before announcing it.
Ah, okay. Now, one of the things, I don't know if you had a chance to see this on Twitter, but one of my favorite, these days especially, one of my favorite follows on Twitter is Chrissy Teigen. And Teigen had posted this hilarious video not too long ago with one of those giant Google Home Max things, and there's some kid's song playing on it, and it's very loud, and she's shouting at this device. She's mere inches from it, shouting at it to try to get it to turn down the volume. And so she's saying the trigger word, "Hey, boo boo," and it's not actually listening to her. So one of the things about Amazon that they've been doing since the beginning is this idea that the microphones they've got, these beamforming microphones, are so good that they, and I don't know if they still do this, but for a while they would sell third-party companies a microphone array chip that they could put into their devices to make it Lexi-enabled and to also give it the really high-quality microphone system. With this very loud sonic boom for your living room, does it still hold up in terms of being able to hear you well, despite the fact that music is playing loudly?
Yes, I will say, so I did the shout test, as I like to call it. It works. It's better than the Google Home Max. It is, I don't know if it's better than other Lexi speakers, but it's certainly, it should be just as good. The problem is you can't really compare apples to apples, because this gets so much louder than the other ones that it's really difficult. But at the loudest volume in my living room, this heard me from across the room say the hot word. So that was really impressive. And you're correct. Amazon has always been a market leader when it comes to beamforming microphones and being able to cut out and cancel a lot of the other noise, including the music that's playing from the speaker itself, in order to hear the hot word. So, this is a really interesting product. The interesting part of it is also something that I haven't mentioned. It's being marketed as a 3D sound Dolby Atmos type product.
Oh.
And in fact, that is the part of the system that fails to impress. And in fact, it's something that I suggest people, when they get it, turn off immediately in order to get access to the really good fundamentals of the speaker system.
Okay, can you explain a little bit more about this Dolby Atmos 3D sound? What is this comparable to other systems? So for example, HomePod, you can pick it up and put it somewhere else, and then the microphones that are inside will hear how close it is to walls, and then adjust the sound to better make an overall sound, whatever, based on where it's been placed. Is that what this is, or is this something completely different? And what's going on here? Why do we want to turn it off?
Right. So the Studio does have that feature where you plunk it down on the floor and it sends out, it uses its microphones to detect ambience and echo and decides how to tweak the EQ slightly. And it works. It does sound a little different if you shove it in the corner than if you have it on a table in the middle of your room. Not drastically, but it does sound a little different. This is not that. This is using the 3 directional tweeters to give you a simulation of what Amazon is calling 3D sound. And what it attempts to do is give you this 360 degree omni-aural experience where you basically can hear different parts of the song depending on where you are in the room. Now, the reason this has that feature is because Amazon Music HD has a very, very small collection of tracks that have been explicitly remastered for this sound format. So it is a proprietary 3D audio sound format. And when you listen to music that has been optimized for the speaker, the array that it is, it sounds great. But by default, the studio so-called up mixes all stereo content to 3D omni-aural sound. And what it does is it ends up crushing the mids to the point where you can barely hear the vocals. And I didn't realize that it had it turned on by default until I dug into the settings after I had a terrible first impression of this thing. I had some people over for dinner. I was like, okay, we're going to do a direct comparison between this and the Google Home Max. Every single person in the room hated the sound coming out of the studio. And it was only then that I dug into it and was like, okay, that's why. It's because this thing is on by default. It makes no sense to me why Amazon would enable this by default. And I really hope they choose to disable it when they ship it. That's actually shipping today. But if they release a software update, I hope that they make that decision.
Wow. So that's pretty incredible. When you turned it off, then you felt better about it. I had heard about the HD stuff, and I didn't realize now that they've got some remastered tracks. But yeah, anybody who cares a little bit about their TV settings knows about upscaling in terms of video and how that can make for a pretty atrocious experience. So I'm not surprised that upmixing, as it's called, makes it a poor experience here.